Colonel Tom Byabagamba is gone. A man who was once extremely close to Kagame is gone. A man who potentially carried many secrets about the RPF system is gone. And he died without writing the book that could have told Rwandans what he knew. So tonight, the question remains, what really happened to Colonel Tom Byabagamba? And after what happened to him, what guarantees exist for other people currently being held in Rwanda's prisons, including Madame Victoire Ingabire? Those are questions Rwandans have every right to ask. May Colonel Tom Byabagamba rest in peace. To his wife, his family, his relatives, his friends, and everyone affected by his death, we offer our condolences. Greetings to all Rwanda Digest followers. In this video, we want to talk about the death of Colonel Tom Byabagamba, the brother of Dr. David Himbara, a former advisor to President Paul Kagame. But before we continue, I want to make something very clear. Some of the information we are discussing in this video is based on allegations and claims currently circulating among Rwandans on social media. At this point, we have not independently verified all of those claims. Colonel Tom Byabagamba was once very close to President Paul Kagame. He served at a high level within the RPF system and was reportedly one of Kagame's close security officers. That matters, because someone who is that close to Kagame for so many years would have known a lot. He would have known many things about Kagame, the RPF, the military, and events that happened behind closed doors. But today, Colonel Tom Byabagamba is dead. And now, many Rwandans on social media are making a very serious allegation. They are claiming that Colonel Tom Byabagamba was killed in jail. Again, I want to emphasize that this is an allegation circulating on social media. We are discussing what people are saying. We are not presenting the allegation as an independent fact. According to the accounts currently circulating, before his death, Colonel Tom Byabagamba's wife had been trying to obtain permission to visit him in prison. According to these claims, she was allegedly told that she needed to wait for President Paul Kagame to return to the country before she could receive special permission to visit her husband. Think about that for a moment. Why would the wife of a prisoner allegedly have to wait for the president of the country to return before she could receive permission to see her husband? That is one of the questions people are now asking. According to these same accounts, she eventually received permission to visit him. But when she went to see her husband, she reportedly discovered that he was dead. That is why many Rwandans on social media are now asking what exactly happened to Colonel Tom Byabagamba inside that prison. For me, his death adds another name to the long list of people who were once close to President Kagame, worked with him, served the RPF system, or knew a lot about it, but later found themselves on the wrong side of it. People are also comparing this to the case of his brother-in-law, General Frank Rusagara, and to other former insiders, including Mupende. And as our beloved singer Kizito Mihigo reminded us, all deaths ultimately have the same result. What differs is how a person dies. Whether somebody is shot, poisoned, killed, or dies while being held in prison under questionable circumstances, at the end of the day, that person is gone. That is why the circumstances surrounding Colonel Tom Byabagamba's death deserve serious scrutiny. Because this was not just an ordinary person. This was someone who had been extremely close to Kagame. This was somebody who knew the system from the inside. This was somebody who potentially knew many of Kagame's secrets. And now he is gone. He is gone without writing a book. He is gone without telling the public everything he knew. He is gone without leaving behind his own complete account of what he witnessed while he was close to Kagame. That is something people should think about. Because when somebody has been close to power for many years, especially somebody involved in security at such a high level, that person knows things ordinary Rwandans may never know. What did Tom Byabagamba know? What did he see? What did he hear? What secrets did he carry with him? Unfortunately, now that he is dead, we may never know the answers to many of those questions. And something else caught our attention today. After hearing the breaking news about Colonel Tom Byabagamba's death, we checked major newspapers and media outlets associated with Kagame's government in Kigali. We wanted to see how they were reporting the death of such an important former military officer. But when we checked, we could not find the story. There was nothing about Colonel Tom Byabagamba's death, and that silence itself raises questions for us. This was a former senior military officer. This was somebody who had been close to the country's leadership. This was somebody who had played an important role within the system. Yet his death was breaking news among Rwandans on social media. While at the time we checked, major pro-government media outlets appeared silent. Maybe tomorrow that will change. Maybe tomorrow we will suddenly see articles explaining what supposedly happened to him. Maybe we will be told that he died from a stroke, an illness, or some other medical condition. But whatever explanation eventually comes out, people have the right to ask questions and demand evidence about the circumstances of his death. Because when someone dies in state custody, especially someone with Tom Byabagamba's political and military history, simply announcing a cause of death should not automatically end the discussion. There should be transparency. There should be credible information. And there should be accountability. Now, many people have raised another concern. People are worried about Madame Victoire Ingabire, who is currently in jail. After hearing about the death of Colonel Tom Byabagamba, some Rwandans are now asking, what could happen to Victoire Ingabire? They fear that something could happen to her in detention, and that afterwards, the government could announce that she died from an illness or another medical condition. Again, this is a fear being expressed by people. We are not saying that this is what will happen. But the fact that people are even asking this question tells you something about the level of mistrust that exists. That concern should be taken seriously. If Victoire Ingabire is in government custody, then the government has a responsibility to protect her life and her physical well-being. People should not have to wake up one morning and hear that another political figure has died in detention, and then be left asking what really happened. Another argument is circulating among Rwandans. Some people say Kagame likes to create political distractions when his government is facing serious problems. Today, major questions surround the war in Congo. There are economic problems inside Rwanda. Ordinary Rwandans are struggling with poverty. People are complaining about water shortages and other basic services. Some people believe dramatic political events can be used to shift public attention away from those problems. Again, that is an argument people are making, and it deserves to be identified as such. But when it comes specifically to Tom Byabagamba, another element makes his case particularly important. This was a man who knew a lot. He had been close to Kagame. He had been inside the security establishment. He had been close enough to power to know information that very few people could have known. And now he is dead. For me, that is why this story cannot simply be ignored. Look at what happened to Tom Byabagamba. This was not somebody who spent his entire life fighting Kagame from outside Rwanda. He was once part of the system. He worked within the system. He was close to Kagame. And yet, look at how his story ended. That should send a message to everyone currently working with Kagame. Today, you may believe that you are protected because you are close to the president. You may believe your military rank protects you. You may believe your history with the RPF protects you. You may believe that because you know Kagame personally, you will always be safe. But what happens when you disagree with him? What happens when you know too much? What happens when the relationship changes? Your previous loyalty may mean nothing. Your military service may mean nothing. Your history with the RPF may mean nothing. Your friendship with Kagame may mean nothing. Today, you can be inside the system. Tomorrow, you can find yourself on the other side of that same system. And that is why the death of Colonel Tom Byabagamba should not simply become another story that disappears after a few days. Rwandans deserve to know exactly what happened. His family deserves answers. If he died from natural causes, then credible and transparent information should be provided. And if there is evidence of wrongdoing, then that should also be investigated. The answer cannot simply be silence. And the fact that when we checked, major Kigali media outlets were not reporting this breaking story makes the questions even more important. Colonel Tom Byabagamba is gone. A man who was once extremely close to Kagame is gone. A man who potentially carried many secrets about the RPF system is gone. And he died without writing the book that could have told Rwandans what he knew. So tonight, the question remains, what really happened to Colonel Tom Byabagamba? And after what happened to him, What guarantees exist for other people currently being held in Rwanda's prisons, including Madame Victoire Ingabire? Those are questions Rwandans have every right to ask. May Colonel Tom Byabagamba rest in peace. To his wife, his family, his relatives, his friends, and everyone affected by his death, we offer our condolences.